back to your crown chakra and say, I'm opening my mind.
I'm opening my mind.
Louder, I'm opening my mind.
I'm opening my mind.
Keep your hands up and say, I'm receiving great ideas here at this seminar.
I'm receiving great ideas here.
Because there's no shortage except awareness, and we've got the world's greatest storyteller coming up right after me. Is he here? Okay, good. Let me just finish this up. Awareness can be heightened and expanded and grow, and so can your money and resources by desiring to do so. This is really cool. This is the smartest guy in Asia. Are we up? Fine, good. The smartest guy in Asia is Roger Hamilton. He's written a book for Hansen. I was called Promises. Well, we wrote a book called Promises. He's got the most beautiful villa in Bali. He went to Cambridge, stayed at Carl Jung's house, found out Carl Jung brought from his home country of China the I Ching, and he mastered all 64 hexagrams. But he said everything's an 8. He says every entrepreneur is one of these. There's only 8 forms of entrepreneurship. Bill Gates is a creator. I'm a creator. I have to be a creator star when you take the test, but she is a star, Martha Stewart. On the right, you got Bomber, a supporter of Gates, makes $12 billion a year. Down here, you got Donald Trump as a deal maker. You got George Soros as a trader. You got Buffett as an accumulator. John Paul Getty as a lord. I went bankrupt because I tried to be like Sam Walton, a mechanic, and I can't be a mechanic because my mind doesn't function that way. Every one of you's got a perfect. Somebody asked me last night, well, I'm in the right place. I said, you're always in your right place. You're asking the wrong question. And what you got to do is ask better questions. Everyone say, I'm asking better questions.
I'm asking better
You're
questions.
asking, are you in your true place? Like, can you tell that Bob and Doug and I are all in our true place? The answer is, yes. And Jerry Roberts and a lot of the speakers here, of course. These guys are all in their true place. Now, Martha Stewart tries to be a trader and does a little stock deal, and she went to... You understand, you've got to be where you are supposed to be, in your true place, not your right place. You're always in your right place. You've got to get to your true place. Are you tracking with me?
Yes.
She went to jail. She comes out of jail. Who buys her company? Warren Buffett makes her a billionaire again. Point to your impulse and go, that's interesting. Because a star will be a star. Now, I'm in a state of California. We got a guy that's always a star. He was a star as a bodybuilder. Arnold. He was a star as a movie star. He's a star as a governor. And now he's running for vice president, because you can run for vice president in America, which is really ishy, independently with Bloomberg, who's worth $19 billion, mayor of New York, as president. Is that interesting?
Interesting.
We're in interesting times, and they want to do some good stuff. And Arnold claims he's pretty green these days. The goal is to reinvent a sustainable, everyone say sustainable, economy and ecology. Who's going to do it? Everyone touch themselves and say, we are.
We are.
Come forward, please. Be nice. Does this mean I'm done? Okay, I'll do one, what? I'll do one last story and then I'll introduce Doug. You can shut it down, Stuart. Thank you. I have a children's free enterprise bank called Mark Victor Hansen Free Enterprise Bank. We lend any kid in the United States or Canada money under 19 for free enterprise, not to go to college. Little kid comes up to me after I talked at Schuler's Church and says, I want to borrow money from your bank. I said, what's your name? He said, Tommy Ty. I said, great to meet you. I said, how old are you, son? He says, 6. I said, what do you want to do? He said, since I was 4, I have a dream. I said, and what would that be? He says, I want to do a bumper sticker that said, peace, please, do it for us kids, sign Tommy. I said, well, just like I teach the audience, you got to figure out what you want. You got it. Number 2, you got to put it in.
Right.
And he wrote down 10 things. Meet Mark Victor Hansen, hit him up for a loan, offer baseball cards as collateral. Number 10, sell 1 million bumper stickers. His dad, a lovely blue-collar worker, drives him over to my office, whispers in my ear, if the boy doesn't pay back the $454, are you going to foreclose on his bicycle? I said, Mr. Ty, we always give all the kids all my tapes as a gift. They listen to them. They're all paid back, 100%, so you don't have to worry. This kid will pay back. Tommy listens to all the stuff that I'm recommending. Like, he listens to Aladdin Factor. Now he says, I always start at the top. Ronald Reagan, this is a few years ago, came out of the White House. He runs, his dad drives him up to Bel Air, rings the doorbell, sells a gatekeeper a bumper sticker for $1.50. Gatekeeper says, hold on, I get the former president, pre-Alzheimer's, brings out Ronnie and says, I understand you're causing peace in the world. He said, that'll be $1.50, Mr. President. I said, why did you ask him to buy? He said, you told me to ask everybody to buy. I said, I'm guilty. Sends one to Gorbachev while Gorbachev's still ahead of Russia. Gorby sends him back a signed autograph picture that says, "Go for peace, Tommy, signed President Gorbachev." I said, "Tommy, I collect autographs. I'll give you $500 for that." He said, "No thanks, Mark." I said, "When you're older, you're the best salesman I've ever met. I'm going to hire you." He says, "When I'm older, I'm hiring you." But we live in Orange County, California. Our big paper is a Register. Sunday feature section has Tommy, my kid's bank, and his 10 goals all printed in a long story. Next day, it gets syndicated, and we get calls from everywhere. We get a call from Joyce Hall. Says, "I want him to talk to my 11,000 franchisees. I can't get any of them to set goals at Hallmark stores. You got this little kid to set goals. I want him to talk." I said, "I got a conference phone, we'll call him." I said, "But he didn't know you're the Grand High Poobah of greeting cards and do $38 billion a year, so he may insult you or reject you." He said, "Mark, I'm a great-grandfather, I can take it." Comes time to negotiate. Tommy said, "Mark, what's to negotiate?" I said, "That's where we ask for the money." He said, "How much can we ask for?" I said, $2,000. Tommy says, "Not enough." Joan Rivers still had her show in New York, calls up and says, I just read this, I'm so touched that you're doing such great things as a little kid. I want you on my show, I'll give you $300. He said, "That's real nice, Joan," but parentheses. He had listened to the Aladdin tapes and knew how to close, how to ask for business. It's 28 concessions, into parentheses. Says, "You know, I'm just a little kid, Joan. I can't come alone." You can afford to pay for my mom to come too, can't you? And by the way, we saw TV, you ought to stay at the Trump Plaza, and I'll bet you know the Donald, and you could get us a room there. And by the by, Mom doesn't drive, and I'll just bet you got a limo. You'd like to make it available to us during the 2 days we're going to be here. Kid gets 28 concessions. Goes on the show, and he's supposed to be on for 5 minutes because he's totally like you are, authentic. He's the Velveteen Rabbit personified. He's beautiful. 25 minutes has elapsed. And all of a sudden, Joan sees the executive producer going, "No commercials, get off here." Joan is wiping her tears, leans in and says, "Do you really think that bumper sticker can cause peace in the world?" He said, "So far, Joni, I got the Berlin Wall down. I'm doing pretty good, don't you?" Now, each and every one of you have a Berlin Wall. Each and every one of you have some goal that you got to overcome. Each and every one of you have got some withhold that you're self-sabotaging with, and you're going to leave it all on a ship. You're going to go over to the deck after the talks are over today, and you're going to disembark. At sunset tonight, you're going to say, "I release all negativity to light, and I replace light in positivity for the light." You got it? Got it. Now let me introduce, I think, the most brilliant raconteur, storyteller of our time. I was introduced to him when I was doing giant meetings long ago. People would give me his tapes and say, "You got to listen to this guy," and I drank in his stuff. I listened. I said, "I've not heard a better storyteller that's lying." He used to write a lot of the stories for the great communicator, President Ronald Reagan. He's been in and out of the White House on a regular basis. He started Mercy Corps. He is the president of Canyonville Christian Academy. He is a great close friend. When 9/11 happened, he says, "We're going to bring all the celebrities together, the president, everything, and we're going to honor all the top fire people that died and all the ones that lived, that worked so hard and so valiantly at 9/11. I've seen this guy be a crusader rabbit literally around the planet. I've been with him when he memorizes in a foreign country the whole national anthem and gives it back to the people, and they cry and they hold each other and they sweep. And I've noted that he does this story, and I hope he'll tell it today. I don't know what he's telling because I forgot to ask him when we had dinner. Would you please welcome up one of the more magnificent human beings, the absolute human treasure. Would you please welcome up a guy I love, respect, admire, and adore, Doug Lee. Oh, there you are, Doug.
That Mark Victor Hansen is the best-selling author of our lifetime. Remember, just for some perspective here, Agatha Christie was the best-selling author of her lifetime. Charles Dickens, who was very controversial, and he'd write a book and you get to the end of the book and he'd say to be continued. A lot of people didn't like him and thought he was a real huckster. Charles Dickens was the best-selling author of his lifetime. Victor Hugo was the best-selling author of his lifetime. Mark Twain was the best-selling author of his lifetime. William Shakespeare, the best-selling author of his lifetime.